live now. Sorry for the delay. And we are live on YouTube and Twitter. So wait for a couple of people to come in. Yeah, sorry for the delay, guys. Hair is looking kind of weird. So welcome everyone to another daily live stream. Supposedly daily, but it's looking to be every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday is the Polkadot community call. So not just myself, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday at around 12 p.m. PST or 7 p.m. UTC. I will be here to talk to you guys about the market, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin dominance analysis, altcoin picks, currently like layer one ecosystem picks, how they're doing, entry targets, some NFT updates like Lost Poets, which I'm still holding, DeFi narratives like the bridge narrative, multi-chain narrative. And today we'll also talk a little bit about a little bit more about Polkadot. So how Polkadot will be a major play, the whole ecosystem wide for Q4. Yeah, and then we'll do Q&As in the end. So, all right, let's just get right into it. Let me go ahead and share screen here. And let me bring up a tab. Trading view. So let's start off with Bitcoin analysis. I think Bitcoin is actually pumping as we speak, so that is really good. And well, we have our market here that's also pumping. We'll talk about that after. Okay, this is a really good sign. So we had these levels, specifically these two lines we were watching since I think Sunday, if not Friday. I think it was Friday that we had these levels. So just to reiterate a little bit, since for the past month, right, for the entire month of September, we were watching this support zone right below here from 38 to 42K, 38K here as the key higher low support to hold. Price held there and made another higher low. So the uptrend technically is still intact. And this period here is just seen as a short-term correction. And since this bounce, right, it was very key to watch these two levels, right, at 48.2 and 52.8, right, just to be very specific. So you can see that very closely here. That is the two previous highs we made on this downtrend, albeit short-term. So we have cleared the first level already. So this is giving us even more confidence now from, kind of when this rally was still coming. So now this bounce from 42K range is looking even more likely to be a reversal back into the major uptrend. But I would still need to watch for actually a breakout above the previous high here at 52.5K. If we get this, then on the breakout retest here at 52.5, I think this will be a very high conviction play for me to actually long Bitcoin here. Obviously, I have enough Bitcoin exposure, so I'm not going to be like bothering to buy more. But this will give me much more confidence here, right? And I would be able to adjust my kind of stop loss here so that, before, right, when we had this run up and this drop, our stop loss was below here, right, below 38. Now that we've had this, our stop loss can be now adjusted to taking out this and to be below this higher low here. So somewhere like right here, right? As long as, let's say this level at 40K is respected, now that would be kind of a key invalidation level to hold above. So as usual, right, what makes an uptrend? It's a series of higher highs and higher lows, right? The previous higher low was here. Now that we made a significant bounce from a new higher low, right, this is the level to watch now. So yeah, that's so far so good, right? And in order for the uptrend to continue, right, let's say treating the uptrend to have started from 30K here, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high. Now that another higher low, we need to make another higher high in order for this uptrend to be clearly confirmed to be resuming. So for that to happen, right, that's why we need to watch for 52.5, right, for the next high to break above 52.5. So that's very key to watch. But so far, so good, right? We already have the higher low, right, coming in above the previous higher low. So already very promising. All in all, this doesn't give anything actionable because nothing has changed, right? It's still the same analysis of uptrend continuing that we have been following since pretty much the entire month of September. So yeah, like nothing really to act on specifically for Bitcoin, right? Obviously, I will adjust kind of stop loss to really watch the 40K level now instead of 38 because this is now a new higher low being made. But aside from that, I'm just overall still bullish on Bitcoin, even after this dip buying, and yeah, nothing has changed. And if you look at EMA here, it's probably a little bit more confluence with our levels. So 200 daily EMA, right? You see this sits right at this range, right at 42K, and 21 weekly EMA at around 44K. Yeah, so far so good, right? So I would say from 40 to 44K, that range is now a very good buying opportunity with a stop loss kind of right below 40 and maybe around 38, right? Before, right, the level to watch was 38, but your stop loss needed to be below it, right? Because you needed to see that higher low being clearly invalidated. In this case, now, if we close below 40 for, let's say, 2 to 3 days, then that's going to be very iffy. So we have successfully adjusted our stop loss a little bit higher than before because we have this higher low being printed now. So yeah, overall, like really good sign for Bitcoin, right? We haven't changed our narrative at all. It has always just been buying the dip as long as these higher lows, were respected, and they are. So yeah, really good sign for Bitcoin overall, and really promising for our analysis so far. Then moving on to Ethereum. ETH, USDT, bam. Okay. Also really good, right? So ETH USD buy range around 2.9K. We have been talking about for, again, the entire month of September. We had these 3 significant, tests of this 2.9K level drawn, right? So resistance here, support here, tested at support again here. So I said anything around 2.9K and below is going to be buying opportunity, and you see clearly this turned out really well. Again, I don't have a strict stop loss on ETH by itself because this highly depends on Bitcoin. So now that this trade is playing in our favor, my stop loss, even for ETH, is going to be based on what Bitcoin does, right? Specifically, if Bitcoin closes below 40K, let's say for 2 to 3 days straight, that's going to be very iffy, right? That most likely I'll have to look at all my altcoin positions, including ETH, and try to, take stop losses there. But yeah, so far so good, right? This buy has turned out really well. And just to give it a bit more context, let's look at ETH BTC. Yeah, so ETH BTC is still respecting the higher low here, right? So this, technically speaking, right, albeit ugly, but still, you can treat it as a wedge, you can treat it as a parallel, flag, whatever it is, right? Regardless, it is still respecting the higher low. So as long as the higher low here holds at 0.065 for ETH versus Bitcoin, it still makes sense to hold ETH because technically speaking, ETH is still in an uptrend when compared against Bitcoin. So this means you are kind of getting, or at least expecting, higher returns in ETH versus Bitcoin, as long as this uptrend holds, as long as this higher low here holds. So yeah, so far so good. Nothing to be worried about there. Our analysis stays the same, right? I'm still holding both Bitcoin and ETH. Okay, moving on to Bitcoin dominance, BTC.E. So from yesterday's analysis, right, we were watching this rising wedge here, similar to this rising wedge. So just to give a bit of long-term context again, long-term, we are very clearly in a downtrend for Bitcoin dominance. So a long-term alt season where altcoins are performing really well ever since the beginning of the year here. And we have had a major rally for 5 months and then a 2-month rising wedge consolidation here, followed by another breakdown, right? So this downtrend is likely to continue, and that's where I'm putting my bets at. And specifically, you see when this rising wedge here had a breakdown, right? The first retest here back up against the support here, which turned into resistance, was a super good opportunity to get into altcoins because this is the first throwback before altcoins start major rallying. And I believe I made quite a few TikToks right at this point, specifically covering this. So now zooming into a little bit more short term, we see that this wedge here, right, is seeing a similar pattern, albeit a little bit more short term. It's still a rising wedge, right? I wouldn't say this was any sort of a breakdown just yet, right? But definitely keep an eye on this, right? So because this is a rising wedge with higher highs and higher lows, right? In this downtrend, right? In this longer term downtrend, shorter term rising wedge, this means it's a very similar pattern to this right here, which is a continuation pattern. So that means there is a higher probability that this breaks towards the downside versus upside. But still, we need to wait for the confirmation there. And in this case, it's either a breakout above this trend line or break below this trend line, right? In either scenarios, right? If we get a breakout above this trend line, then we are kind of expecting somewhere around 45% level for Bitcoin dominance to be tested. Sorry, Luke, just mute you in the server. Okay. But even if this happens, right? Lab assistant also mute you because only contributors can talk. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so even if this happens, right, we know that we are in a long-term alt season. So when this happens, I'll simply just free up more capital to wait for a bit more dip to buy in altcoins. I won't be exiting altcoin positions until we at least break above 45% here for altcoin, for Bitcoin dominance. But I think the even more likely scenario here is if we get a eventual breakdown below this rising wedge here. So if and when this happens, right, especially following this kind of pattern, the first retest here at this currently support, then turn into resistance, will be an optimal time to get into altcoins, right? Because it's very similar to right here, right? When we had this previous breakdown, you see, when this broke down and then it had a retest here, many people were hesitant. They were like, okay, I saw a little bit of altcoin rally, but you know what? The market's not confident. I'm not confident in this. Like, this is still a short-term thing. Altcoins you see altcoins are dumping again, but that was the optimal time to enter because you saw what happened right after, right? We had a so far 2-month-long rally now for the entire altcoin market. So when this happens, and not saying this 100% will happen, but I think it's quite likely, but we still need to wait for the confirmation here. If and when this happens, I will likely buy even more altcoins, and especially when this happens, I will try to enter heavily at that time, right? Right now, I'm kind of buying slowly, kind of every day, buying like the bridge narratives, the layer one narratives, multi-chain narrative, so multi-chain farms, buying into the Polkadot Kusama ecosystem. But it's kind of slowly, right? But if this happens, then I'll just kind of take those couple days and really go ham, because that's the key time to be positioned before the next major rally starts for altcoins. So yeah, that's the Bitcoin dominance. Really key to watch this rising wedge here. I'll keep you guys updated in case either a breakout happens or a breakdown happens, right? If a breakout happens, I'll probably wait till 45% range to go heavy in altcoin. If a breakdown happens, then the first retest here, I'll go heavy in altcoins. But yeah, so far so good. Haven't sold any of my altcoins yet. I'm still very, very exposed in the altcoin market overall in the narratives we talked about. Yeah, so still very bullish on altcoins overall. Okay, so that's Bitcoin dominance. Let's go into some layer ones. So the layer one narrative is the hottest narrative, at least for right now. Let's go on CoinGecko. So I think the DOT ecosystem will be very hot in kind of the next quarter, as well as the multi-chain narrative. But so far, most of that multi-chain narrative is still just people speculating on the layer one networks that are currently live. And they're kind of individually enclosed ecosystems with like one bridge back to the Ethereum mainnet just to transfer tokens. So this narrative is still very hot right now. And just going down the market cap list here, right? Let me zoom in a little bit. So I don't have any Solana or Cardano right now. So mostly because Cardano ecosystem, not really there yet, right? And Solana, it has pumped way too high above its previous all-time high already. I do believe strongly in the Solana ecosystem, and I think ecosystem plays are good opportunities. But Solana coin itself, because it's even 3x from previous all-time high back in May, its risk to reward isn't that good in comparison to other layer one chains. So this is why, I'm a strong believer in the Solana network and its projects, but I don't have any Solana coin itself right now. But going down the market cap list, right? The next contenders, we have Luna, Avalanche, right? So let's just go over those. So Avalanche, I made a TikTok about this yesterday, right? We've been entering a lot around the $55 range. In fact, even before that, when we had this consolidation, we were buying a lot from 40 to 55. If you were here for some of the insider reports we made, basically all three of these dips we were buying. And then when it broke above previous all-time high again, we were buying whenever it tested the $55 all-time high, which is right here. So far so good, right? And I think this ecosystem is just starting to pop, right? A lot of the previous price rallies were based on people speculating on what's to come, but the actual liquidity mining incentives will only start mid-October, right? So hasn't even started yet. So we are still very early in this. So yeah, continuing holding my AVAX position. Very similarly is Luna here, Luna USDT. This has already started to rally. So we have been buying right around the $24 level, which is close to the previous all-time high around 22. And you see, yeah, it's actually surprisingly doubled already. That's kind of nuts to think about. But yeah, continuing to hold Luna here. And Luna ecosystem as well. There are mostly new projects coming up. I don't think there are too many existing plays that comes to mind that is very easy to get into to recommend. But Luna coin itself, right? If you are holding our positions from 24, like this is clearly leading. So I think, yeah, this will continue to rally. So I'm still holding this. Next up, Algorand is another one. Our buy range was around $1.70, which was the 3 test of the previous all-time high here. Rally is just starting, right? Up around 10-15% here. So far, so good, right? Atom or Cosmos, similar scenario, right? Previous all-time high around $28 to $30, right? So far, so good, right? If we get any retests here, I will probably buy more of, but I doubt it. What's the other one? Phantom USDT. This previous all-time high was around 94 cents. Again, the bounce is coming in, so yeah, looking really good. I have ditched, I think, Near and Harmony. Near is still okay looking. This is, I'm not so, especially on Harmony, I would say, because since we had like all of these layer one networks sort of in one basket to get exposure in this narrative of layer one networks, of this multi-chain future, you can't always be holding all of these, because there will be some winners like Solana, and there will be some losers that like kind of just hover around the all-time high range but not do much. Right now, I would say Luna's leading, AVAX is doing well. Harmony, Phantom are Atom, Phantom, Algorand are doing all decently. If you look at Harmony here, for example, yes, it bounced, but it's still even haven't closed above its previous all-time high. So this is one key metric you need to watch, right? So this is why, like, even after the entire narrative is so hot, this is one of the laggers in this basket. So this is why, you know, I'm not so bullish on this specifically. It probably will go up, but in comparison to the winners, right, from the basket we just picked, you eventually want to kind of shred the losers that are lagging behind and keep the winners. So this is why, you know, I've shredded kind of Harmony and Near from that list, and focusing on mainly AVAX, Luna, Atom, Algorand, and Phantom. Another one that I've shredded is Elrond. Yeah, I'm just not too convinced. I think this is still able, right? This is technically speaking now above its previous all-time high with today's rally. So yeah, if you're into this, like, fine. I just haven't been hearing of much about Elrond in comparison to the others on the list. I would say Algorand I've heard a lot more of. Obviously, Algorand's price pattern is similar to this, right? But a lot of more people are talking about Algorand right now. So yeah, just kind of favorite picks of mine. Obviously, they all fit into the same narrative, layer one EVM network narrative. So if you're a fan of this, fundamentally, like, nothing wrong with it. And I think it should do well. But I'm just speaking about, you know, kind of the few I'm focusing on. Right. So from now on, right, my positions mainly are AVAX, Luna, Atom, Phantom, and Algorand. Yeah. Those are chains that kind of I have in my basket. Okay, so that's layer one ecosystem narrative. Now, another layer one that is like super bullish, but a little bit early is Polkadot, right? So I plan to make a couple more TikToks on this over the next week or so. So the Polkadot narrative will be, in my opinion, the leading narrative, the leading chain for Q4 this year, and maybe even 6 months from now. For the next 2 quarters, I think this will be the main leading narrative. Because last summer, we had already Polkadot really popping off, right? With projects announcing that they're building on Polkadot, but not actually building on there because the network isn't even live. So there were a bit of frenzy, right? This time around, though, we have already the first 10 parachain slots and the first 10 parachain tokens or coins that have come out on Kusama, right, which is Canary or testnet for Polkadot. And Polkadot auctions is most likely going to be live in the next quarter. I think probably within the next 2 months, even one. Because the first 10 slots have already finished on Kusama. So these are like super large networks, such as your Akala, which is a multi-billion-dollar project. You have Astar, you have Moonbeam, right? These are huge projects, right? That will be coming out, and they themselves, even though they are parachains or like kind of child networks of the Polkadot network, they themselves have smart contracts and everything built in, right? For example, Moonbeam is a direct competitor to AVAX and Solana and what do you call it? Luna and Phantom, right? Because it's a whole EVM chain. There are DEXs, there are farms, there are lending borrowing protocols already built on there. And you can use your MetaMask today, right? Connected to the Moon River network, which is Moonbeam's branch on Kusama, and just use their DEX already, right? The ecosystem is already getting built. You can swap stuff on there. You can lend stuff. There are probably NFTs on there already. So, and this is just one child network of Kusama and of Polkadot. But I'm pretty sure within the next quarter, there will be like 5, if not 10 parachains that will be live on Polkadot. And these are all like in the sizes of Moonbeam and Moon River. So the whole Polkadot ecosystem will be huge coming the next quarter and 2 quarters. And the first set of events that will really drive Polkadot's price will be the crowd loans for the parachain auctions that will go live probably within the next quarter, where projects, in order to join the network, they need to buy DOT coin themselves, and they will need to rally their supporters to buy DOT and to loan it to them in order to receive the project tokens. Right? This is what they call crowd loans. So this hasn't started, but we are seeing signs of this clearly pointing to it being ready and good to go very soon. So I really wouldn't be surprised if within the next month, Polkadot comes out and says, okay, our crowd loans and parachains are going to happen at this date. I would not be surprised at all. And that would be a huge event because it's been like years of building and then now about 1 year of speculation for this Polkadot parachains. And we went over this yesterday. So Polkadot parachain Binance, right? One really good sign that we're seeing is people are spotting that if you are holding DOT tokens on Binance, let me see if I can find it. Polkadot crowd loan Binance. There's actually a here. See, Binance has these earnings and savings DeFi products, and if you hold DOT on there, there is a bit of a product that's already ready and good to go, called DOT slot auctions. Right. So this is kind of Binance's hosted version of helping you to participate in these Polkadot crowd loans to earn extra yield to get the parachain tokens like your Akala and Astar network and Moonbeam tokens. So this is another good sign that obviously Binance themselves knows when this is going to go live, right? So they're already starting to implement this, and as well as I think KuCoin, Kraken, and many other major exchanges are already on this, right? They have implemented this into their interface already, into their exchange. So really wouldn't be surprised if within the next month we get some sort of official announcement for when DOT auctions will go live, and that'll be a huge catalyst for DOT's price. So looking at DOT's price, how can you take part? How can you reap the benefits of this, right? So we have been watching this range from around $28 to $38, and there is a bit of a short-term head and shoulders building here. And I do think there is a decent buying opportunity at around $28, $27. But in the very short term, let's say next couple of weeks, right, before this news actually goes live, there could be even a bit more dip in DOT if this head and shoulders plays out with a head and shoulders and then a second shoulder here, right? Especially if we have a retest back up to the neckline here. So if price breaks below $26 and tests back at this range, then I would be expecting something like $20 for a buy zone for me personally. This hasn't happened, right? So I don't know if this will happen. But again, just looking at the price pattern here, if this happens, then most likely $20 will be my buying target. However, in the other case, if we just get a super bullish kind of price movement right here, then if we can clear $38, then I would also like to buy at 38, at a retest of 38, because if we can clear 38, then this will mean that we have cleared a new, again, higher high here and respected the previous higher low. So this would mean that, okay, like the dip isn't coming and it's better to just get in this because like we're not going to get $20. So I'm watching both scenarios, right? Either break down from 26, in which case I'll probably aim to buy at 20, or break above 38, in which case I'll just straight up buy at 38, because that's showing even very strong short-term buying demand. But yeah, this is at the top of my watch list right now, DOT. So again, for the next quarter, and I think even 6 months, DOT is going to be a monster. And I'm kind of keen to make a prediction that we'll see DOT $100 by the end of this year. I think that's a pretty reasonable estimate, personally speaking. That's so that's again another fun prediction. I don't have much data to back that, but I really don't think a 3x for DOT, given what it has lined up, is going to be a problem. I don't think it'll be a problem. Yeah, so I'll probably make a TikTok for this, right? For this prediction, but yeah, that's what I would tell myself to be really convinced in this play and to expect like a really ideal case for what the return will be. So if I convince myself that, okay, like we could potentially see $100 by the end of the year, then now all of a sudden I can adjust my kind of short-term thinking to more longer term. And that really helps too for myself. Because I know the fundamentals of the crowd loans, of the whole ecosystem popping. And giving a sort of quite bullish prediction for myself will help me navigate the charts a little bit better, because then I probably won't even look at what it's doing in the short term here and just look at a bit longer term. And that helps. That helps with me personally to get positions and to be kind of zooming out and to see the bigger picture. Even if it doesn't play out, which, I mean, come on, let's just be frank here. It's just a prediction. Predictions are never that accurate, but they do help in cases like this to really give yourself and give myself a longer term outlook, right? Yeah, so that's DOT. But again, DOT is just a part of the picture. So how do you play this? How do I plan to play this? First off is getting a major position in DOT coin itself, right? And secondly is getting in the top crowd loans when they happen, right? So that is through stuff like the DOT slot auctions hosted by Binance. And the first ones, right? If you look at parachains.info, I think this is the site that Mahi shared with me. So the top projects, again, Akala, Astar, Moonbeam, I think Fala Network, Bifrost, Calamari. Yeah, but a few skip my mind, but kind of the top chain parachains that are already live on Kusama, they will be most likely the top 10 parachains on Polkadot as well, and those will be very lucrative. So by lucrative, I mean like in the sense that not only are you reaping the benefits of DOT appreciation, but when you loan your DOT to these projects, you keep your DOT and you get their project tokens for free. So this is like what makes it even more lucrative. And if you look at the auctions here, Polkadot, like very soon, right? The Polkadot auctions here will go live, right? So we already have two that has announced waitlists, which is Akala and Equilibrium. I'll probably support both of these. Yeah, I actually know both of these projects. Equilibrium was the leading stablecoin builder on EOS back in the day, so they have a very, very strong tech team. Yeah, so if you look at the list here, right, for the top auctions on Kusama, right, Karura is Akala, Moonriver is Moonbeam, Shiden is Astar, Bifrost is also Bifrost, I think. Kala is Fala, Basilix, Robonomics, Altair. Yeah, so actually only the top 5 here, right? So make sure you get into, or myself will get into 5 of these crowd loans on Polkadot, right? After I have secured my Polkadot position, I will get into 5 of these crowd loans for the project tokens. And then lastly, the last bit of speculation that you can do right now is to get into projects that are native to the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem that are building dApps instead of parachains, right? So for that, in my opinion, the best tool or website to use to track this is dotmarketcap.com. So on here, you can see the projects that are already tradable, right? By this filter here, listed. And skipping kind of the obvious ones here. Some that I think are already interesting, Polkaswap, right? This one, I actually know the team. They are building a super legit substrate native DEX. Reef, another DeFi protocol. Let's see what else. Sora, RMRK, I hold a lot of, you guys know. Kylan, I've covered before. Polkadex, I covered before. Polka Foundry. Just a lot of these projects, right? Make sure that you check this website, check out all of the tradable coins here, and figure out which ones are actually building on Substrate and what their plans are, right? So if they are going for a parachain, then they need to be the kind of the top 10 projects in the ecosystem, which is very competitive. So the list is pretty much set already, right? You have like, again, Akala, Moonbeam, Equilibrium, Fala, Bifrost, Kinsuki, which is like the Bitcoin. I forgot what their thing is, right? But there's about 10 of those in this list. I would say like a pair thread or pair chain, all, right? So parachain, here we go. Yeah. So you want to get into these 10s. So these 10 are currently trading on KSM. These are their KSM parachains. These 10 projects are what I'm going to get into in Polkadot parachains. But then after that, I will look at the dApps that are currently building on these parachains instead of trying to compete but not being good enough for parachains. So these are things like Polkaswap, which already has a DEX that's live. RMRK, NFT protocol / marketplace that's across the entire DOT ecosystem. This is live. Polkadex, another DEX that's live. Kylan Network is an Oracle that's already live. So go through this list, see which ones are live and not competing for parachains but failing, but instead focusing on building dApps and will be ready enough to really take advantage of this upcoming dot hype. The ones that I just mentioned, I think are good. Moonswap is another one we covered yesterday. This is a swap slash DEX that's already live on Moonriver. So they will be ready for Moonbeam. But yeah, I will have to dig even deeper into all of these projects and see which ones I can get in right now. But yeah, so far, once I'm watching Polkaswap, Reef, RMRK, Kylan, Polkadex, what else? Moonswap. Yeah, so those are about the ones that I know that are live and are decent tokenomics. But there are definitely other ones that I'm missing here because I haven't studied all of these. But make sure you study this because this will be major alpha when in the next quarter. Will be a lot of these projects will pop. So of course, if you're super lazy and you don't know what to do and you only have a Binance account, like yeah, getting DOT is good. And at the very least, you should be getting into parachains, right? When your exchange supports it, right? So that's like Binance, KuCoin, Kraken. These will probably give you a decent way to back the parachains. At the very least, you should do that. But if you really want the top alpha right now, it's projects that will be ready to take advantage on this ecosystem, to build on this ecosystem. So yeah, that's Polkadot ecosystem plays. As you can tell, I'm very excited about this because yeah, this is top alpha really for next quarter. Remember Solana summer? This is like dot winter. Yeah, and probably dot spring as well, I think. Okay, so lastly, a couple DeFi plays that I'm currently holding and is good for right now. I've covered a lot of these already, right? So Spell. This fits into the kind of layer one ecosystem multi-chain narrative, right? These DeFi plays that I'll be mentioning. So Spell is a multi-chain, multi-collateral MakerDAO equivalent or alternative. And one really cool site here I'll show you is I think it's this buy.die.money. Yeah, so this is actually very, very interesting site. Very funny, actually. So this compares Spell versus, or Abracadabra is the protocol's name, versus MakerDAO, right? So as you can see here, Spell's market cap is only 16% of Maker's market cap. And DAI, MIM, which is the stablecoin's supply, is only 14% of DAI's supply, right? But if you look at how much they're innovating and how much they're being used, right? The last 7 days, the Spell protocol generated 91% of the fees that Maker protocol generated. So their adoption is huge, right? Lots of people are using the protocol to mint MIM, to like lend and borrow on all kinds of chains through Abracadabra, right? Versus Maker, because of whatever they're designed to be like very ETH, discriminatory, right? They're only on ETH and Optimism, Arbitrum. They're not generating fees, right? Even though DAI is being used everywhere, that doesn't generate fees, right? They just have like a large supply of DAI that's like being traded, but nobody's really using the protocol in this to justify this market cap. Because if you look at this, right, Spell has such volume and fees versus Maker is like, okay, large market cap, large supply, but not much fees, right? So clearly, you can go down here and see, okay, the fee earnings also comes from, Spell's key innovation with this multi-collateral is really helping them. By that, I mean, in Maker's sense, Maker takes like ETH and USDC to back DAI, right, as their collateral. But those aren't really innovative assets. They're very stable assets. Versus MIM, on their hand, they take like stuff like Yearn vaults, convex finance vaults, and all kinds of let's say staked sushi, wrapped Olympus DAO, stake Olympus, Spell, their native token, right? USDC vaults, you have like Alchemix, you have Phantom, you have like Cream Iron Bank, right? So all of these DeFi building blocks act as collateral for MIM. So yes, this is like a little bit more risky, but these are all very productive assets. They themselves generate protocol revenue, right? And this is why them and Spell being very non-discriminatory and just integrating, the very innovative and what people want as collateral and moving to multiple chains directly translates to them getting so much adoption here. So this is a really cool site you should check out. And this is further cements why I'm super bullish on Spell. I actually have quite a large position in Spell. And you see over the past like 30 days or so, right? We were accumulating a lot in this like 0.3 range, right? 3 of these dips we were buying, 0.3 cents, right? All 3 of these dips we bought. And then you see now it's 0.6 cents. So yeah, this is already 100% gain for us. So far, so good. I think this should be at least $1 billion protocol. So yeah, continuing to hold, not planning to take any profits anytime soon. So yeah, that's Spell for you. Another one is Joel. In Joel's case, I think this is super undervalued right now. So Joel is the leading DEX in the AVAX ecosystem, and it's pretty much the only ecosystem project that is outperforming AVAX coin itself. And if you look at price pattern here, let me bring up like ChartX. This is currently in this consolidation range from $2.30 to about $3.50, right? This is a super good buying opportunity right now, in my opinion. Like I'm heavily buying Joel right now, like every day. If you look at, let's take all the volume here. So we're looking at this consolidation as buying zone. If you try to draw a rectangle there, right in this block, right? Because how is that a good buying zone, right? That dates back to the previous peak here, the previous higher high. Let me make this a little bit clearer, which is also this higher low, you see? So we saw a bounce here, and now this came down to retest this again. So by buying this in this range, we have a very clear stop loss right below this previous higher low, right? And just given the fact that this also dates back to the previous higher high here, this significant support level at $2.50 range is very significant. I'm kind of expecting the down to this. I wouldn't even call this down. I would call this just kind of dip to stop right around the $2.50 range. That's kind of what I'm expecting. And at the worst case scenario, right, we still have our stop loss right below $2, right, in case this higher low is broken. So yeah, when you have a very strong support and you have a very clearly defined stop loss for how much you're risking, that's what makes a good entry. And on top of that, this is the Joel dollar chart, right? But if you look at Joel versus AVAX, this is also in an uptrend, right? With higher low, and now higher low here, right? So when an ecosystem token is outperforming the ecosystem coin itself, that's the biggest sign of strength you can watch for. It means that the coin is not only following the ecosystem's trend, but also leading the ecosystem. So this is the only coin in AVAX ecosystem that's exhibiting an uptrend when compared to AVAX coin itself. So this is why, this is the only coin that I'm holding aside from AVAX to be in the AVAX ecosystem. So I just don't see this being a bad buy. This is like, you can also look at this sort of double bottom here, right? With a neckline retest here. Maybe zooming into like a 4-hour chart would be clear, right? So let me remove all the drawings here. Double bottom, right? Breakout retest, and now second retest back down to this neckline there, right? Obviously, you need to treat this here as a fake out. But yeah, like at the current level, I just don't see this as a bad buy. Like this is, you got to consider all the funds that got in right around $2 as well, like 3AC, 3Lao, Mechanism Capital, they bought like just below $2. So this is a super good opportunity in my opinion, and I'm heavily loading Joel right now. So that's Joel. Last one is Synapse, SYN. This is almost $2, but I still think this is quite undervalued. So we have been buying pretty much throughout this sideways correction here, below $1.50. Just like every time I did a stream, I covered Synapse. So far, so good, right? This sideways period, in fact, this chart is actually very clean. So let's use this. Let me try to bring this up. But you can see a very clear sideways consolidation between $2 and $1.30, $1.20, $1.40 maybe. I'll try to show you on DEX tools here. If I can bring it up. Synapse. And come on. Oh yeah, we already had this since last stream. That's great. I love it. I love how the chart is just there. Yeah. So yeah, we've been watching this, right? Previous consolidation right here, right? Sideways sort of bottoming pattern, right? Printing a inverse head and shoulders already, right? 2 shoulders on the right, breakout, retest. This retest kind of failed, but we did make another higher low here. And now we're making a second breakout. So all in all, anything I think about $1.70, I think it's still a good, really good buying opportunity, right? This chart is so clean that we drew this and it's still playing out. So I really love this. If you know TA, like this is textbook bottoming pattern here with inverse head and shoulders, trading range, right? Breakout above the trading range. First retest has failed, no worries, right? Second retest, we'll buy again. So just to give you the fundamentals for this, Synapse is the leading multi-chain bridge that allows you to send your ETH to not only stuff like BSC and Polygon and Phantom AVAX, but also more importantly, it supports Arbitrum. So these are optimistic rollup layer 2s for ETH. And currently, this is the best bridge, right? With high liquidity and also no delay, right? The native bridge for Arbitrum and Optimism just don't work. They're shit. So as these optimistic rollup sidechains or layer 2s come up, there's a clear demand to get money on there to ape into other stuff. So people will be using Synapse. This is my other type of bet to bet on this current trend of multi-chain narrative. So that's Synapse, and I've been buying a lot. I still plan to buy more of. Spell, not so much. It's already pumped a lot, but Synapse and Joel, I'm heavily accumulating. Like even today, like right after this call, I'll go buy more. So that's that. Okay, let's go right into Q&As. Let's do like 10 minutes of Q&As. I think we've covered long enough. So let's look at events chat on our Discord. Let's bring up the Q&A banner. Ape time, yes. Time to ape, man. I mean, now is the time to be in altcoins. Like you don't want to miss this. When will the fund come out? We can't see your screen. Well, how come you can you see? Yeah, you should be able to see my screen, right? Time to look into crowd loans are like now is the time, man. Like I will be accumulating DOT. I will be getting into all the top crowd loans for sure. Our Bacon USDC LP rewards will start restart soon, or will everyone have to move to BSC staking? Most likely, we will put double the rewards on BSC because like we don't have a lot of rewards, right, dollar wise. So like for you to even claim for that to cost like $100 when you're staking like $400 only, it's just not worth it. So so our plan is to, at least for the short term, have everything on BSC. The BSC farm is ready. It's being tested by as beta right now by all the Platinum members and the team. But we will do just like double the rewards on BSC, so we can focus all the trading for Bacon on BSC, and you don't have to pay like super high gas fees every time you want to claim. So until ETH is usable again. Thoughts on Ash? It's good. It's Murapak's kind of native token for all of his NFT collections. I don't have any. I prefer to just get into the NFTs themselves, but I don't know the specifics about slashing on crowd loans. Unfortunately, I don't have any information on that. Any exchanges recommendations for Joel for US residents? You just use a DEX. It's not even on a centralized exchange, so you don't need to. Use a DEX. Use Joel itself is a DEX, so use Trader Joe to buy the Joel token. Overvalued TVL seems low versus market cap. No, don't think so. That cannot be true. I mean, you kind of have to understand what TVL is for Ohm. Like they lock up their own token, so you cannot have more Ohm locked up than their market cap. That's literally not possible. So, sorry, not Ohm, but like the intrinsic value as well as the liquidity. No, it's a completely different type of TVL. So I don't think so. First time for me looking into crowd loans. Do you just apply on Binance? Yeah, I mean, you can, if you don't have too much experience with it, going through Binance, you'll get a less bit of rewards. So take some fees, but it's an easy way to do it. 1,000 taking profits toward the end of the year, bear markets? No. Like I don't see it being like too reasonable as a metric. You say, like a year at the end of year, I'm just gonna exit. Like, why? Just because? Like, no. If market crashes, then I'll take profit, right? But it hasn't, so we'll continue riding it until it does, right? So we need to look at the data, not like just this year, like it's gonna end. Why? I don't see what the data is. Join late. Will this call be posted on YouTube? Yes, every call is posted on YouTube. So just check out the Virtual Bacon YouTube. Okay, thoughts on GLT. I don't even know what that is, THS, so I cannot comment on it. Let me just check that out after the call. Okay, let's do some comments, questions on YouTube. Do you own more than 2 Origin Lost Poets? I don't. So I got those airdropped to me from minting a lot in the original drop. I don't own more than 2 though. It's Origin Poets are very competitive. AXS is on fire. Yes, absolutely. Tezos, it is relevant. I haven't looked at it too much price-wise because technically, like, they're not very EVM compatible, and they don't have a working bridge. Those are the main things that are like, that I'm hesitant about. What are you buying in the Kusama ecosystem? See, you are kind of late to the party. We have been buying Kusama before the crowd loans, like, so in the month of August, we were in the crowd loans, and so now you're looking at Mark Mover again, like we were in the Mover crowd loan. So yeah, it's definitely not the best layer one solution, but it is in the trending narrative. I don't have any mover coin itself, but there are some mover DeFi projects on Moonriver that are interesting. Moonswap is one that comes to mind. I don't have many more that I can talk about. You're kind of late to the party though. I think the main play right now is to actually be early on the DOT ecosystem, on the DOT parachains, instead of like now that all the parachains already launched on Kusama, you're like, oh, I want to buy these, like after they pump 10x already. They will continue to go up. So do their ecosystems, but it is what it is, right? Like there are other. I think there are better opportunities. Buying at current price is advisable. Like you can buy whatever you want, man. I cannot give you like a target for what you should do. I can tell you what I'm doing, which I already covered, right? Break above 38, I'll ride the strong trend. If we break below 26, then I will expect something like $20 as buy zone. But regardless, right? Like, DOT is cheap, giving how much is coming for crowd loans. Buy a little at this price and be prepared to buy higher, lower, whatever the market gives you. Yes, exactly. That's what I see as well. Do you ever short? Not really in crypto. Crypto's shorting is kind of, it's usually you lose money. My rank would be Luna, Avax, Dot, Algo, Phantom, Atom, One, Celo, Near, Glitch. Yeah, okay. Good list. I would say that's too big of a list. All good projects on there, but I like to focus a little bit more. Maybe like top 5 networks for me personally. So yeah. Mina also interesting. Mina is a privacy native layer 1. Same as Rose. Rose is also solid. These two are kind of under the radar. They haven't popped up yet. Their ecosystem haven't started yet. Yeah, again, I don't know. I think they might be too early for this cycle. If we see a major privacy push, then stuff like Mina, Secret Network, these will pop. But they are not trending right now. It's not the trending narrative. ICP kind of shit, not gonna lie. Celo also, I've been hearing about it, but it's not too trendy yet. Yeah, Secret Network. Again, it's privacy native layer 1 in the. I think they use Cosmos as their core tech stack. So if privacy comes around as a big trend, then Secret Network, Mina will be the top place. Stop spamming your ICP, bro. just stop. DOIDX buy zone. I don't have a buy zone for that. Sorry. It is quite. It's pumped a lot already, so I really cannot tell you. When something goes straight up like this, like what am I like? I'm responsible for you. I tell you to buy here, and then it drops 50%. You're gonna come blame me? Like, come on. So yeah, I cannot give you a buy zone if I'm not seeing it. Akala is good. Akala is the top crowd loan that I'll get into in the DOT crowd loans. Market cap of Mover is less than $1 billion. Older layer 1 solutions and more than $10 billion in them. Do you think Mover can 20x from here? You got to consider they already have Moonbeam as well, right? So Moonbeam is going to be like the bigger network of Moonriver. So if you expect Moonriver to hit 20 billion, then is Moonriver 100 billion? And if Moonriver is 100 billion, is Polkadot $1 trillion? Like, come on. At some point, you got to consider like how much money there is. So yeah, I don't know about $20 billion mover. You know what I mean? Like, if the leading like layer 1 EVM compatible chain in the DOT ecosystem is 20 billion, which I think is reasonable in a peak bull market, then that's probably Moonbeam, not Moonriver, right? So yeah, you gotta study a little bit more. Just don't take like purely like, oh, like all the layer 1s have 10 billion. How many have more than 10 billion? AVAX, Luna, are they even 10 billion? I don't know. Like Atom, right? Algorand, like are these 10 billion? Like Phantom. So there are a lot of competitors in that range. You cannot just simply say like, okay, Moonriver is going to pump. It's kind of you kind of late to the party again. What the fuck is GNT again? Hold on. GNT is not QNT. I don't know what GNT is. Sorry, bro. Widow Rocks, thanks for the support, dude. Radix, okay, we covered this like way back last summer when it was doing its token sale. This was a Radix DLT, right? Like they said it was a layer 2 for DeFi, I think. I haven't heard of it at all for the past like 6 months. So I don't know. Backed protocol. Sure, yeah, I'll look at it after. Why do you think Mover is not a good layer 1 solution? It is. I haven't told you it's not. But again, there are also 10 other good layer 1 solutions, right? And they are not at 20 billion. They're not even at 10 billion. And they started way before Moonriver, and they have bigger ecosystems. So you just gotta, I know you like it. I like it as well, but you cannot pump it forever, you know? Like this is not a diss at their tech, right? Quite the contrary, their tech is amazing, right? Moonbeam River, the whole DOT ecosystem tech is amazing. But just because tech is good doesn't mean they'll be like $10 trillion, right? You got to just look at the competition, how much market cap there is, right? How much money there is in comparison to other chains, and like how much real estate can they actually take up, right? And take into account the Moon River also has Moonbeam, it's bigger brothers that will be spawning up. So, you know, like they themselves don't want Moon River to be super huge so that they cannot push Moonbeam anymore, right? So there's valuation is different from fundamentals, from technology. Constellation and Vector Space, again, these two are heavily being showed by influencers. I still don't know. I have not heard of it from any of my kind of traditional crypto people. So I really don't, I can't tell you. The price do well because they have a lot of influencers, but I don't know what else is there. Is there a reason Akala is your number one parachain as opposed to Moonbeam? I say number one because they have the most money. They are the first slot auction winner. So this is why I just like, you know, if you want to bet on something first, like for sure and blue chip, yeah, just like beyond there. It's not and their technology is different anyways. So I will be in both. I'm not picking like, oh, I'm all in Akala versus like I don't want any Moonbeam. No, I'll be in all 10 as much as I can. So yeah. Okay. Elrond, haven't heard of it too much talked about, so I'm kind of picking the other 5 that I mentioned instead. Our market by end of this year, I think it should be at least $100 million, which I think it's already quite close. It's already at 70 million. So yeah. I don't know what XP network is, bro. Veracity. I mean, we actually know one of the core advisors at Veracity. It's been a long-term, like very long-term project that spawns in the bear market. I don't know what it's currently doing. I just don't know. Will Synapse integrate Optimism? Most likely, yeah, because they integrate Arbitrum, right? So Arbitrum and Optimism, technology-wise, very similar. So they most likely will integrate Optimism as well, I think. I don't see why not. RGT, Luke says, yeah. Rari Capital, yeah, another good one. Yeah, actually, I might need to look at RGT's price again to see what's going on. Can someone tell me how to move to BSC staking in NETHOP? Yeah, there'll be a guide for this. I'm a platinum member. I know they are trying to the beta, but not sure if I should do it. I hate missing the rewards. You can try right now. So the beta is just a front end beta. The back end is ready. So whatever you stake, it'll be like once it goes live, it'll still be there. So you can already start marketing if you're a platinum member. But we just want to make sure that the front end display stuff is only shown to like our core community, so that like if anything is super weird, you know, people don't like FUD it, and people can just like the actual core supporters can tell me, okay, like you're showing this number, like you're missing a decimal digit or something. Quick rundown on what to look out for when buying Hashmask. Do you buy floor or prioritize rarity? I would say for most people, just buy floor. Yeah. So a really good tool, let me show you. Really good tool is I think sorry. What is this? Who has their mic unmuted? Oh, what's up, Kearns? Yeah, let me mute you. It's like NFT tools.io, I think. .app. .com. Okay, I don't know what it is. NFT tools. There's a site for this. Yeah, you can also just this site is better. So there's this person that developed a really good tool, NFT tools.xyz here. So with this tool, you can also use rarity tools, but I think this is a little bit better because this is more dedicated to hashmass. So hashmass tools.xyz, yeah, this is the website. So here you can see the cheapest ones for sale, right? So this is kind of buying the floor. And then rarest ones for sale if you want to buy a rare. But if you want to do a combination of those, you can kind of go by browse here and do like, let's say you only want to buy like rare ones that are under like 1.5 ETH or 2 ETH, or let's say like 2. And then rarity rank like, let's say top 2,000. You see nothing there, right? Top 5,000, rare. You start to see some stuff, right? And then on top of that, if you have any specific sort of features or masks you're looking for or characters you're looking for, you can filter by those here, right? So if you want to buy if you want to see any hash mask under 2 ETH that has a robot as a character, okay. So robot is a pretty well sought after character type. So these are pretty good buys, I would say. Puppet is even more sought after. As you can see, like nothing's under 2. I would say maybe even like under 3. Yeah, these are pretty good. Some like really rare ones. Golden robot under 20 is like very good, I would say, especially if you can get it like around 15. Okay, like also clowns. Yeah, I think this is a great buy here. I might go pick this one up. Clowns is popping up a lot. I think clowns floor is around 7 right now. Golden robot itself should be around 20. Yeah, so this is I can give you a whole list of stuff I know, but you kind of just have to like take all of this out, right? And then like go on is offered for sale, and then go by like search by whatever you want, right? The trait, and then see what the floor is, and see like roughly what people are selling most for, and then if there are any that are outstanding, that are particularly cheap, right? You can sort by rarity or price here, right? Yeah, I'm surprised how cheap this one is. This I think this is a pretty good buy actually. If anyone want to take that alpha. Let's see. Yeah, so if you have anything particularly you're looking for, then yeah, I can go for that. For me personally, I have more than enough hash mask exposure. As you can see, like I have some of the rarest ones here. Like I have this one, I have this one, right? So yeah, but for most people, you wouldn't want to go for the super rare ones. Instead, because the super rare ones are very hard to get out of in case this doesn't play out, right? So if you don't have a lot of capital to play around with, better off to just go for the cheapest and wait for like the super liquid floors to rise, and then you can get out anytime. So that's why I think for most people, going for floors is the way to go. Yeah, because people are always betting on the floors, right? Whenever floor rises, all the cheapest masks you can like just buy and sell all the time, because there are a ton of people like buying and selling around the floor price. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Joel. Yeah, I think for most people, floor makes the most sense. If your goal here is mainly to flip and make a profit, floor makes the most sense. Okay, let's see if there are any last questions on YouTube. Let's see. Why is AXS pumping while SLP isn't so much? Because AXS is the token that doesn't have super high inflation. That like kind of represents like the protocol's the project's growth. SLP is the one that gets inflated a lot. So yeah, that's SLP is a utility token that gets inflated but also gets burnt. So yeah. Luna has only one developer. Do you think it's better to buy Luna at these prices? Luna does not have only one developer. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? that's literally a crazy. Cannot be less true. Dennis, have a look at ChainSwap, another solid bridge part. I know the team actually. I was introduced to them through DAOmaker. Sorry, not ChainSwap. ChainBridge, I think, is the one that I know. So I haven't heard of ChainSwap. I'll have a look at it after. I'm buying Joe because my father is Joe, best TA in research. I mean, buy into your father's name, right? So, anyways, okay, so that's about it. Are you following Andre Cronje's rarity? Yeah, so the rarity, what do you call it? The RPG game, right? I haven't been playing. I think it's very interesting, but I still don't know if there's a way to make profit off of it, so I haven't been following. Murdenous, are you the what's it called? The clown mask guy? You're not? Okay. 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 Because I think I see someone similar on Twitter. Anyways, yeah. Let's talk after. Let me check out your yacht. So can US citizens do dot pair chain auctions? You definitely can. You definitely can. You probably won't want to do it on an exchange, but you can do it in a decentralized way. You just send your dot in. So oh wait, maybe Lamau. Okay. Let's cut the stream here and let me jump on Twitter and let me find out. So thank you everyone for joining. It has been a really good stream today. So appreciate all your feedback, all your questions, and I think Q4, right, main place for me personally, thought whole ecosystem why, like I just mentioned, multi-chain narrative with all the layer ones, and DeFi to enable that. So bridges, multi-chain farms, multi-chain like collateral, stablecoins like MIM, multi-chain DEXs, the leading ones that are in popping ecosystems like Joel. Temple DAO, I'm still trying to get in. Temple DAO guys, if you're listening, please I think this is one of the best spin-offs of Olympus, but yeah, I'm still trying to get in. So that's it. This stream will be recorded and posted right after on my YouTube, as well as in our Discord. Join our Discord if you want more info to talk with everyone in our community. Aside from that, thanks everyone for being here. I'll see you again on Wednesday. That'll be the next stream. Same time, around 12 p.m. PST or 7 p.m. UTC. Same kind of format. Hope you have a good day, and follow me, link tree below. Bye for now. See you guys on Wednesday. Bye-bye.